Windows 11 turns on BitLocker automatically. Most people don't even realize it. You buy a new laptop. You sign in with your Microsoft account. Everything looks normal. But in the background, your entire drive may already be encrypted. Now that sounds like a good thing, right? Encryption equals security. Security equals protection. So what's the problem? The problem is this. BitLocker might not be protecting you the way you think it is. Let's be clear from the start. Encryption itself is not bad. In fact, it's essential. If your laptop gets stolen, full disk encryption can prevent someone from accessing your files. That's great. But the real issue isn't encryption. It's control. When Windows 11 enables BitLocker by default, especially on home editions tied to a Microsoft account, your recovery key often gets automatically uploaded to your Microsoft account in the cloud. That means if something goes wrong with your hardware, motherboard, BIOS, settings, or TPM chip, you might suddenly be locked out of your own computer, and your only way back in. Microsoft's recovery portal. Now, imagine this scenario. You upgrade your motherboard, you change a BIOS setting, your TPM resets, or your system simply detects suspicious hardware changes. Suddenly you're staring at a recovery screen asking for a 48-digit key. If you don't have access to your Microsoft account, if you forgot the password, if the account was deleted, if something glitches, your data may be gone. Not hacked, not stolen, just inaccessible. And here's the part most people don't understand. BitLocker on Windows 11 Home doesn't give you the same transparency and control that enterprise users get. Many home users don't even know encryption was enabled. There's no big warning, no clear education, no serious explanation of what happens if hardware changes. Encryption is only as good as your key management. If you don't control your key, you don't fully control your data. Now, does this mean BitLocker is useless? No. In corporate environments, BitLocker works very well. IT departments manage keys. Devices are tracked. Recovery systems are organized. But for home users, it's different. Most home users upgrade hardware themselves, reset BIOS settings occasionally, don't track recovery keys carefully, don't think about TPM behavior. That's where problems happen. And here's another uncomfortable truth. Encryption doesn't protect you from malware already running on your system. If your Windows session is unlocked and you get infected, BitLocker does nothing. It protects against physical theft, not active attacks while you're logged in. So the marketing idea that encryption equals complete protection is misleading. It's one layer. And if it's enabled without your full awareness, it can create new risks. Now here's the bigger philosophical question. Should your operating system automatically encrypt your drive and upload the recovery key to a cloud account by default? Some people say yes. It protects less technical users. Others argue that automatic encryption without clear user understanding removes ownership and transparency. And that debate matters, because encryption is powerful, but it's also unforgiving. If the key is lost, the data is lost. No password reset trick, no backdoor, no bypass. That's the point of encryption. Which means the real question isn't, is BitLocker secure? The real question is it secure in a way that actually empowers you? Or does it shift control somewhere else? And if you want encryption with full control over your keys, what are your options? That's where things get interesting. Now let's go deeper into what's actually happening behind the scenes. When Windows 11 enables BitLocker automatically, it often ties the encryption key to your Microsoft account. That sounds convenient. If something goes wrong, you log in online and retrieve your recovery key. But convenience and control are not the same thing. The TPM Trusted Platform module plays a big role here. It's a hardware chip that stores encryption keys securely. When everything stays exactly the same, the system unlocks automatically at boot. But TPM is very sensitive to change. If you update firmware, if you change your motherboard, certain BIOS settings are modified. If secure boot settings shift, the TPM may decide something is different enough to trigger recovery mode. That's when the 48-digit key prompt appears. Now imagine this happens unexpectedly. Maybe your PC crashes and you clear the CMO's battery. Maybe you swap a CPU. Maybe Windows just misdetects a change. Suddenly, you can't access your files. This isn't a hacker attack. It's your own security system locking you out. And if you don't know where your recovery key is stored, you're stuck. For technical users who understand encryption and key backups, this isn't a big deal. They export the key. They store it offline. They manage their own recovery options. But many home users don't even know BitLocker was turned on. That's where frustration begins. Now let's talk about another limitation. BitLocker protects data at rest, meaning when the system is powered off. Once you log in and unlock your drive, everything is decrypted and accessible to the operating system. If malware runs while you're logged in, encryption doesn't stop it. If ransomware executes while you're actively using the system, BitLocker won't prevent it. Encryption is not antivirus. It's not firewall protection. It's not behavioral security. It's theft protection. It's that distinction matters. And here's something even more important. When your recovery key is stored in a cloud account, you introduce a dependency. You're trusting that your Microsoft account stays accessible, the recovery portal always works, your credentials remain secure. No account lockouts occur for many people. That's acceptable. But others prefer full independence. They want to generate their own encryption keys. They want to store them offline. They want no cloud dependency. That's where alternative encryption solutions come in. Tools like VeraCrypt, for example, allow full disk or container encryption without tying keys to an online account. You create your own password. You manage your own recovery methods. Nothing is automatically uploaded anywhere. Of course, that also means responsibility shifts fully to you. Lose the password? The data is gone, but at least the control is entirely yours. Linux systems also offer native disk encryption during installation. And unlike Windows Home, the process is transparent. You're asked directly. You choose whether to encrypt. You set your passphrase yourself. No hidden defaults. No automatic cloud uploads. Just clear consent. Now this doesn't mean Windows 11 is malicious. Automatic encryption likely exists to protect non-technical users from theft scenarios. But here's the tension. Protection without understanding can feel like control without consent. And that's why the debate exists. Should security be automatic, even if users don't fully understand it? Or should it require informed setup? There's no simple answer. But if you're running Windows 11 today, you should at least know, is BitLocker enabled? Where is your recovery key stored? Do you have an offline backup of it? If you don't know the answers to those questions, that's the real risk. Because encryption isn't dangerous. Ignorance of encryption is. But now comes the biggest question of all. If BitLocker isn't perfect for everyone, what's the smartest long-term strategy for privacy, control, and safety? That's what we need to talk about next. So what's the smart move here? Should you disable BitLocker completely? Should you avoid encryption? Should you just ignore the whole issue? The answer is more balanced than most people expect. First, encryption itself is not the enemy. Full disk encryption is actually a good thing. If your laptop is stolen from a coffee shop, encryption prevents someone from pulling your drive and reading your files. That's real protection. The real issue isn't encryption, it's awareness and control. If you're running Windows 11, the first thing you should do is check your BitLocker status. Is it enabled? If yes, where is your recovery key stored? Log into your Microsoft account and verify it exists. Download a copy. Store it offline, on a USB drive, print it on paper, somewhere secure but accessible. Don't assume it's there. Confirm it. That alone eliminates most of the horror stories you hear online. Now, if you're someone who upgrades hardware often, experiments with BIOS settings, or builds your own PCs, you may prefer more manual control. In that case, disabling BitLocker and using an alternative like VeraCrypt could make sense. VeraCrypt gives you full control over your password. No automatic cloud key uploads, flexible encryption containers, cross-platform compatibility. But remember, with full control comes full responsibility. There's no password reset. There's no recovery portal. If you forget the key, the data is gone. Linux users face a similar trade-off. During installation, you can choose to encrypt your entire drive. You set your own passphrase. No company stores your key for you. Simple, transparent, direct. And for many privacy-focused users, that clarity matters. Now let's step back and look at the bigger picture. Modern operating systems are moving towards secure by default models, automatic updates, automatic encryption, cloud-tied accounts. The intention is often good. Protect the average user. But power users sometimes feel that automatic security removes choice. And choice is important, because security should empower you, not surprise you. There's also a psychological factor here. When encryption is invisible, users don't learn how it works. They don't think about key backups. They don't understand recovery processes. That lack of understanding is what turns security into risk. If you know how your system is protected, you can manage it confidently. If you don't, you're relying on hope. Now here's the realistic conclusion. BitLocker is not evil. It's not a spy tool. It's not designed to trap you. But it's also not a magic shield. It protects against physical theft, not malware while logged in. Secures your drive, but it depends heavily on proper key management. And for home users who weren't fully informed, automatic activation can create confusion. So what should you do? Check your BitLocker status. Back up your recovery key offline. Decide if cloud-stored keys fit your comfort level. Consider alternatives if you want full independence. Most importantly, don't ignore it. Encryption is powerful. When you understand it, it protects you. When you don't, it can feel like it protects something else. At the end of the day, real security isn't about features. It's about informed control. Whether you stay on Windows, move to Linux, or use a hybrid setup, the goal should always be the same. You own your data, not the other way around.